and welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be giving you some book recommendations based off of the fact that it is Valentine's Day this month. So Valentine's Day is coming up next week, and I know it can make some people feel a little bit lonely if they're not in a relationship. So I decided to throw some book recommendations out there for people who wanted to read a good love story around this time. I have a few books here in different sort of genres. I have some basic romance recommendations. I also have a fantasy, a dystopian, and a classic recommendation for you guys to read around this time. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So I'm going to start with my fantasy recommendation. It is a book that is insanely popular right now, but I just wanted to throw it out there for the few people that maybe haven't read it yet. And it is, of course, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. ACOTAR is a book that is based off of Beauty and the Beast, which is a great love story, great Disney movie, but a great love story that lots of people know and love. And if you have not gotten into this book yet, you should check it out around this time because it does center around a relationship and a love and true love, and puts a fun little twist on it. So if you are into fantasy and haven't yet gotten into this book, I definitely recommend it. The plot is sort of like a subplot to the romance, so I would definitely check this out if you haven't already. Next up, I'm going to be talking about my dystopian, sort of, not sci-fi, but dystopian, sort of another fantasy sort of recommendation, but it is The Selection by Kira Cass. I haven't read this book since I was in maybe grade 7, but I was literally obsessed with this series, and it's sort of a fun little series to read around this time, this month, because it's basically a royal bachelor. Prince Maxon is trying to find his new queen, and they do a process called the selection where 35 girls are chosen from around their world. It's a dystopian world, so they're separated into caste. It's in a caste system. They are all brought in, and he basically has to decide which one he wants to give his rose to, give the crown to. Out of the 35, they go on dates together, they get to know each other, and he gets to pick who he wants for his bride. Next up, I will talk about the classic. It's one that I'm sure many people have read, or maybe at least just watched the movie, but it is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is like the OG enemies to lovers story. It's amazing, so great. If you haven't read it, definitely pick it up. Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth's story will make you swoon, it'll make you cry, it'll make you feel maybe more lonely on Valentine's Day, but also sort of help fill that void a little bit because their romance is just something really amazing and you'll love reading about it, I promise. Reading that enemies to lovers arc, I know it's a lot of people's favorites. It's my favorite as well, and this is literally the one that started it all. Now I will just talk about my contemporary romance recommendations for you guys this month. I'm going to start off by one that maybe not very many of you have heard of. I have mentioned it before once or twice on this channel, but it is Not the Girl You Marry by Andy J. Christopher. I found this book randomly at a thrift store. I have mentioned this before, and it is role reversed How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is literally my favorite rom-com movie of all time. I love to watch that movie this month. I try and watch lots of rom-coms in February. I'm just in the mood for it. And this one is one of my favorites of all time. This book was beautifully written, so well done. You'll fall in love with the main guy, and the main girl is funny and sassy as hell. You'll love it. Then I want to talk about another book that I have talked about probably a bajillion times on this channel, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I'm always talking about how this book needs more hype, and I will never stop trying to give it the hype it deserves. This is another enemies to lovers, sort of friends to lovers, as well as best, like friend next, boy next door, sort of. It's kind of a million tropes rolled into one, as well as fake dating. It has everything you could ever want. It is set in grade 12. They are just about to graduate and go off to college. This has heavy ties to classic rom-coms like You've Got Mail and Say Anything and just every good rom-com ever. It also has heavy ties to music. This book is just so amazing. It's everything you could want to read about in a romance rolled up into one. So definitely read this if you are in the mood for a good rom-com this month. And And finally, I did want to talk about my new favorite book from January, which is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I have started tabbing it a little bit, just the parts that I remember. It's a phenomenal story, friends to lovers, second chance romance. It has everything you could really want. I rated it 5 stars. The main character, or the main guy, Elliot, is anyone's ideal man. He's a reader. We love that in the reading community. So I definitely recommend checking this one out. It'll make you swoon, make you smile, make you reminisce on earlier days, and maybe make you want to pick up the phone and call that old friend that you haven't talked to in a while. It definitely made me feel nostalgic and made me want to reach out to an old flame. Not that I have one, but it made me want to do it. Those are the romancy books that I am recommending to you guys this Valentine's Day, this month. If you need something that sort of gives you the feels and makes you feel the warmth and love that a partner would, it's always nice to be able to turn to books in times of loneliness or just times when you need a warm hug and maybe there's no one around to give you one. These are just some really amazing books that'll give you that nice feeling and hopefully help you fall back into reading if you're haven't been in the reading mood lately. But this month, these are definitely the ones that I recommend you read. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I post new bookish videos every Wednesday that you do not want to miss. Comment down below if you have any good romance recs for this month or any books that just sort of give you the Valentine's Day feels. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!